All right, guys. So before Trump was even put in office, before the inauguration, many experts were claiming that if he follows through on the all of his promises, particularly on tariffs, immigration, and the like, we are more than likely going to see a recession, maybe even a depression. Um, so just in kind of keeping track with that, I want to read an article. This is from Newsweek, and I guess I will just go ahead and jump in here. It's entitled, Will There Be a Recession in 2025? Experts Weigh In. This was updated on December 31st, 2024, the same day that it was published. So this is about 2 months ago. Kitty, kitty, stay down off today's battle. So I would say that people are going to be far more concerned than not after this because of the insane moves that he's made. He's even like doubled down and went even further on certain issues like tariffs than he originally stated. So, some people in the United States fear Donald Trump's economic agenda could see the economy fall into recession, with experts giving mixed predictions for the year ahead. Newsweek has contacted Trump's transition team for comment via email. Why it matters. Despite inflation being at its lowest level in 3 years, more jobs being added to the market, and the economy expanding in 2024, breaking in for a moment, you can thank Joe Biden for that, by the way. Note how Trump has tried to blame every negative thing on Biden and he's tried to claim credit for every positive thing. But the actual data does not reflect that at all. He got the he came into the White House in extremely good shape as far as the economy goes. Extremely good shape. And so far, it's heading in a very, very negative direction. So he can't claim that Biden caused any of the issues right now. It's just bullshit. I mean, it's just made up. Like everything he says is a lie. It's hilarious at this point. Like he can't own up to any of his fuck ups, and yet that's all he ever does is fuck up. Continuing. Many Americans remain concerned about the issues, with polls showing that the economy was one of the most important issues to voters during the election. Here is the back of a truck saying Recession, Donald Trump's economic chaos. What to know? Some people are concerned that Trump's economic agenda could see the economy fall into recession. Last month, the incoming president threatened to slap an additional 10% tariff on all Chinese exports to the U.S. and a 25% tariff on Canada and Mexico. Canada and Mexico are major trading partners with the U.S., accounting for almost 30% of U.S. trade volume. It remains uncertain whether Trump will follow through on his tariff proposals or whether they are part of a broader negotiating strategy as he prepares to return to office in January. But if the tariffs are imposed, they could cost Americans an estimated $78 billion annually, NBC News reported, with everyday goods costing more. Meanwhile, the president-elect's pledges to cut business taxes and regulations have investors hoping for a surge in the American stock market. But there are fears his measures would open up a gaping hole in the federal budget, which could hurt the economy. Breaking in here, note that he did everything he could, and I think he succeeded in bringing up the debt ceiling because he wants to increase it. Although historically the GOP are the ones that constantly harp on about the national debt, how important it is, how we can't be spending anything. Yet he's spending insane amounts of money, increasing our debt, and actually harming us. And like what he's doing is not helping anyone except for the wealthy, and that's just retarded. But anyhow, Trump has also pledged to hold the largest mass deportation in history and has said he will use the National Guard to round up migrants and invoke the Alien Enemies Act, a 1798 law that allows the president to deport any non-citizen from a country the U.S. is at war with. The American Immigration Council estimated that deporting 1 million people annually until the undocumented population is eliminated could result in a 4.2% to 6.8% reduction in GDP. To put this in context, the economy shrank by 4.3% during the Great Recession, the Democrats noted. 4.3% during the Great Recession, and it's estimated that getting rid of the undocumented population will result in a 4.2 to 6.8% reduction in GDP. Something to think about, although that's something that Trump is incapable of. A recession occurs when a country's economic activity declines significantly and lasts for more than a few months. What people are saying. Caroline Leavitt, Trump J.D. Vance transition spokeswoman, told Newsweek, President Trump will enlist every federal power and coordinate with state authorities to institute the largest deportation operation of illegal criminals, drug dealers, and human traffickers in American history, while simultaneously lowering costs for families and strengthening our workforce. I'll note that he is following through on the massive deportation, which is going to cost a lot and actually harm everyday people. The economy is going to be fucking devastated by this. But the second part of this, simultaneously lowering costs for families and strengthening our workforce, he has not done. By the way, this sort of echoes his promises early on in the campaign run for his first term, which was exactly the same. He made these same promises and he fucking lied. He didn't do shit for everyday people at all. He made tax cuts for the wealthy, and that's it. That's all he cares about. That's all he's going to do this time too. And you will see. So the American people reelected President Trump by a resounding margin, giving him a mandate to implement the promises he made on the campaign trail, like deporting migrant criminals and restoring our economic greatness. He will deliver. Jan Hatzius, head of Goldman Sachs Research and the firm's chief economist, said in a press release, the fundamental upward pressure on the unemployment rate may have ended via a combination of stronger labor demand growth and weaker labor supply growth because of slowing immigration. This brings the job market signal back into line with the broader growth data. Bill Stone, chief investment officer of Glenview Trust Company, told CNBC, the market is, to my view, at least everything I look at is setting very low odds of recession next year. And it's not that I have any sort of a forecast for recession. I'm just saying it's priced for a very low probability. That would make for some fairly ugly markets, I think, if suddenly we got those probabilities moving up. I don't necessarily foresee that. Paul Mortimer Lee, a research fellow at the National Institute of Economic and Social Research, told The Telegraph, the U.S. economy could slump if the president-elect follows through with ill-considered, rushed, and damaging plans for tariffs, mass deportation, tax cuts, and slashing government spending. He said the package would be likely to tip the U.S. economy into recession, adding that a worst-case scenario could see the U.S. GDP contract by between 2 and 3 percentage points. Expelling 5 million workers could reduce GDP by close to 2.5%, Mortimer Lee said. Since expulsions could continue for years, the reduced rate of growth in GDP would be persistent, not a one-off shock like tariffs. And it's important to note here, I'm breaking in again, he is following through with all of those fucking claims. And this is the deal where people go, like Trump says a bunch of shit. They cherry pick the things they like that he says. For me, that's practically nothing, but beside the point. They take the things that they like and they say any of the things they don't like, they go, that's just Trump blustering. He always does that. By now, I've said this over and over again. You should know you always take fucking Trump seriously. This is not a joke. So if you voted for him, you're a fucking idiot. And it's all on you. And I will talk shit the entire time because I didn't vote for him because I have a brain. What happens next? Economists will continue to monitor growth in the economy to predict a recession, keeping a close eye on whether Trump acts on many of his campaign pledges. I will be keeping an eye, of course, on the economy. Now, what they noted earlier in the article about the possibility of like a short term increase in the stock markets is nothing, because the stock markets do not reflect the fucking middle class and the lower class. They reflect big corporations and how well they're doing. And of course, they're going to do very well under Trump. That does not tell you the state of the economy at all. In fact, I could care less about that shit. People who actually matter, the workers, the people who keep the fucking country afloat, how they're doing, that's what matters. And I've said it time and time again, and I stand by it. And unless there's some massive change, like Trump decides like, oh fuck, I'm a fucking idiot, and decides to like retract all of his shit and like goes a completely different course, then I'm going to stick with it because it's so fucking obvious. You don't need to be an economist to understand this shit. Although it's worth noting that all of the economists agree with me. So yeah, we'll be keeping track of this as time moves on. And a lot of people have been bringing up this point that I made the claim for Biden that the president does not directly control the economy. Now, that's true. So they're making the case that now I'm harping on the economy because it's Donald Trump. There's a huge, huge difference here, and it does not take a very intelligent person to understand it. Harris, in her campaign, didn't make these insane fucking promises about day one groceries will go down. And by the way, the price of eggs specifically was the thing that Trump ran on over and over and over again. He had JD Vance chime on about it as well. The price of eggs, oh my God. It was like $2 or $3. And look at it now. But so the reason why this is not a valid point is because Trump campaigned on this. It's why he got elected. Now, we have a lot of really stupid people who keeps on bringing up this point that the left lost because of being woke. That is the most low IQ thing I could possibly think of. Not because of like my personal beliefs, not because I think that woke shit is cool or anything like that. Because it's just objectively, obviously, factually fucking wrong. They went away from woke policy. Harris did not mention shit about fucking trans stuff or gay rights or anything like that. They completely went away from it. So if you think woke caused the loss of Democrats, you probably don't know anything about politics at all. You're probably a moron, or you just watch fucking Fox News and that's all the information you get, which ends up being the same thing in the end because it's fake fucking news. So let's see. The big thing, and the polls reflect this, you can pull it up yourself. The big thing that a vast majority of Americans voted on is the economy, which is why I harp on this so much, because Donald Trump is a fucking con artist. And he even said himself, I won on groceries. And it's really important to note, out of all of the sweeping executive orders, all of the things he's done, all of the cuts he's made to government, which, by the way, your average person isn't going to see any of. It's going to all go to wealthy people. So he hasn't done one fucking thing for everyday Americans. He actually raised the price of fucking pharmaceutical drugs. Biden had a fucking plan where he allowed Medicare, Medicaid to fucking, what's the word? I can't think of the word. To haggle, I guess, for fucking prices on drugs. And it saved insane amounts of money for people. And Biden had made attempts to do other things, even on a general level, against like big corporations and fucking pharmaceutical industries for the greater good of the American people. The shit that actually matters, not this stupid woke shit that they're using as a smokescreen so that you don't pay attention to what really matters. And it's sad that it fucking works. But the point is, Trump axed that program that only saved money to people. By the way, it's the same thing with the fucking Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, I think. I may have got that wrong. It's a long fucker. But anyway, its entire purpose was to save Americans money from fucking fraud. And it made back many times over what it cost. It saved insane amounts of money for American people. Yet they're claiming that they're trying to save the American people money. That should set off a fucking alarm bell in your head right now. They didn't even make up lies on that one. They made lies up about fucking $50 million in condoms going to fucking Hamas and they're using it to build bombs. What kind of a fucking idiot would believe that? Anyhow, it's proven debunked. But the point is, they didn't even make up any lies about the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau. They just fucking axed it. And it's only a positive thing. It was like a 5-fold increase compared to what it costed in the amount of money it brought back to everyday American people. They got rid of it because it falls in line with their whole fucking agenda. They're wanting to fuck over everyday Americans to benefit the wealthy. So if you're not the wealthy, if you're not the 1%, you're a fucking mark and you're an idiot for falling for this shit. And it's only going to get worse. And by the time you realize that this whole time we were telling you the fucking truth, it'll be too fucking late. But anyhow, that is all for today. Thank you for your time.